Hi everyone, it's Nicole here today, and this is a Lawn Fawn card that's a collaboration stamp and die collection from Lawn Fawn and Ellen Hudson. And it's just a super cute stamp set. The whole theory behind it of working together and helping one another is just fantastic. So please make sure you check out all the information on Ellen Hudson. I have a little write-up on my blog as well that goes with this. You can click on the link underneath the video here on YouTube. I'm going to create a little monkey scene here. These are the cutest images. If you're a big fan of Lawn Fawn like I am, these are going to really just kind of go with everything else that you already have. You can mix and match them with other kind of jungle type theme images. You can create all kinds of fun scenes. I am stamping my images here on some Nina smooth white cardstock using the Lawn Fawn jet black ink, and I kind of accidentally smudged some of it on the one side, so I simply flipped my paper over. No need to waste additional paper, and I'm going to stamp these. I'm using the Misty. This is going to get the best crisp black outline simply because you can stamp the images one on top of another if you don't get the desired result the first time. Now I cleaned the stamps with the Lawn Fawn chamois, and then I simply picked up the stamps that I need multiples of, and I'm inking them up and stamping them on the other side of the paper. Now I'm going to wash them again with the chamois, anything I don't need, but this vine, I'm going to need multiples of these because I want it kind of hanging down from the top of the design. I went ahead and stuck with the Misty for this just so that I could get the great outline. Once that's done, I'm going to start coloring. Pretty easy Copic coloring here. The colors I'm using are shown across the bottom of the screen. Some E40 for the face, E43 as my shading color. I have 3 monkeys here that I'm coloring, but there's only 2 in the finished card. That last monkey, I saved him, and I'm going to use him for a different project some other time. My initial thought was to use all 3 of them in some way, and I just really felt like once I got the card put together, got my backgrounds inked and stamped with greetings and added some of the elements, I didn't need that 3rd monkey. So while there's 3 here, just know that that 3rd one's going to show up on a card some other time. The base color for the rest of the monkey is E43, which was my darker color for the face. I've also added a little R20 to the cheeks on the monkeys to pinken them up. Then I'm using E47 and E44 for the rest of the fur on the monkeys. That E47 is used pretty lightly, just in a few areas to darken up natural areas where it's going to be darker. E44 is going to be pulled out further. In fact, I felt like it blended out too much when I went back with E43, so I went over it again to pull that darker color out even more. Blend with my E43, and then I'm adding some little dots with my darkest colors, E47. It's going to add some nice detail. I'll do that for all 3 monkeys and then move on to all of the greenery. I try to do everything in one color family at a time. So for all of the leaves, the vines, and the all the other little pieces here, I am using some green colors, and I'm using YG01, 25, and 17. This makes it pretty easy, keeping it all in the same color family. Blend out. I don't want to blend too much. I like a little bit of that veiny look in the leaves, so I'm trying not to blend that too terrible much. Go ahead and do the vine portion with my darker green. So there are all of the vines. And I even thought I maybe needed a little bit darker green color just to darken up a tiny touch there. I didn't even blend it out. For the bananas, their base color is going to be Y11. The banana itself is YR30 with just a tiny bit of Y11, but the rest of the bananas are Y08 there and Y11. Now I have die cut a background using a small dotted rectangle stackable. This is a Lawn Fawn die. And I laid out my monkeys just to kind of gauge where I think I want my hello friend greeting to go. And I'm going to stamp that with VersaMark ink. And then heat set that with some Hero Arts white embossing powder. This is going to be an embossed resist greeting. The rest of the greetings will be stamped with Lawn Fawn die inks. So I want to melt that. Holding it at an angle allows me to see what's already been melted a lot easier. I like to hit the back of it as well so that it kind of flattens out that panel just a little bit. I'm going to take a combination of Twisted Citron and Squeezed Lemonade Distress inks, and instead of coming in off the sides, I'm just going to concentrate my color in the center of this panel. This panel was cut from Bristol Smooth cardstock, so the results are so much smoother and so much easier than a traditional, like a Nina Solar White cardstock, I think, and you get that nice smooth look. I'm going to blend those two colors together, spritz this with water from a distress sprayer, and blot it dry with a paper towel just for a little bit of a distressing look on the background of this panel. Make sure and buff any ink that's sitting on top of the hello friend greeting off as well. Next, I am going to take additional greetings from the Love Ya Bunches stamp set, and I'm going to build up my greeting. So starting by with Swinging By to Say, I'm going to stamp that with the freshly cut grass ink. Then I stamped I Find You Very Appealing after that. And finally, I'm going to finish with Love Ya Bunches. But with the Love Ya Bunches greeting, I'm going to use a combination of Lobster and freshly cut grass ink. So I'm inking up one portion with Lobster, one portion with Love Ya Bunch, or with freshly cut grass rather. So there just gives a little bit more hint of color in the card, and it highlights that word love. I'm ready to start putting my images together. So I want my vines kind of concentrated up in that top right corner of the panel. I'm using some Zotz Bling glue dots and only adding adhesive underneath the larger leaves. That's going to leave the vine open to hang my monkey. And this monkey over on the right is going to be holding a banana, and I kind of want it to look like he's holding the banana up to his mouth getting ready to take a bite, but I also want to make sure that it doesn't cover up any of the greeting. The next little hanging monkey is going to be hanging over here next to him, holding a bunch of bananas. But it took me a while to kind of get that figured out and how it was going to work. So while I kind of messed with the rest of the card, I'll come back to the bunch of bananas in a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and finish adding my vines all along the top. Just kind of goes really nicely with these hanging monkeys, the kind of jungle type theme. I'm using Zotz Bling glue dots because they're nice small glue dots and they work well underneath all of these small die cut images. Additional leaves can be tucked here and there, give it a little bit fuller look, more vines hanging down. And at first I thought maybe I'd put the bananas hanging. I didn't like that. Or put them down below or use that other monkey. And I just didn't like any of that. So what I ended up doing is I'm going to just tuck those into the other hanging monkey's hand to make it look like he's holding that bunch of bananas. I'll come back to that here in just a second. I'm going to add some white dots to the cheeks on my monkeys. And there you can see him holding his bunch of bananas. Now to coordinate with the word love that's stamped with the Lawn Fawn Lobster red ink, I am going to stamp 3 hearts from the Love Ya Bunches stamp set, color those in with COPIC markers, R24 and R29, and die cut them with the coordinating dies. And then I'm going to scatter them throughout the card. This just gives a nice punch of color. It reinforces that love from the greeting down there that I stamped, and kind of just makes the whole card pop, I think. I've also die cut a mat for my card from some cilantro cardstock using the large dotted rectangle stackable die in the A2 size. And I'm using those Zotz Bling glue dots to attach my hearts. And I'm going to go over those with a layer of glossy accents to make them nice and glossy. Go ahead and attach this panel to the cilantro panel, then attach the whole thing to a side fold card base to finish the design. I love the look of the layered greetings there, using multiple greetings from one stamp set to really tell a nice story, and it's just almost part of the design that way instead of a separate sentiment or greeting. Thanks for joining me today for this Lawn Fawn and Ellen Hudson collaboration stamp and die set, Love Ya Bunches. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Here are a couple more cards featuring Lawn Fawn stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.